Drop two strangers at the altar on their wedding day, mix in some reality TV magic, and you've got Married at First Sight. The show follows the newlyweds throughout the first few months of marriage, all while they're just getting to know each other. As the couples are expertly paired up for a reason, the show becomes an electrifying social experiment. But will it last? And is it even real? Here's what you don't know about Married at First Sight. Vetting party. Just because Married at First Sight is a reality show doesn't mean just anyone can be on it. As show expert Rachel D'Alto described to ET Online,
each candidate goes through a very thorough background check to determine if they have significant debts or any sort of criminal record.
And that's not all. The experts also take into account the moral values and mental state of the participants. Show counselor Pastor Calvin Roberson added,
"We're looking at things like their psychological testing, their core values. These are legally binding marriages."
But just what kind of person would sign up for this? Reality bride. As a few contestants described on The View, a bride can have many different reasons for getting married on the show. Monet Bell admitted,
"I wanted to get married. I'm at that place in my life."
And fellow candidate Courtney Carrion just knew she had to do it.
Well, the opportunity presented itself, and I thought, why not? You know, if I left the room and I said no, I would always think, what if, for the rest of my life? And I don't want to have regrets.
First impressions. The first big moment on the show is when the bride and the groom see each other for the first time, but it's not quite as romantic as it might seem. Monet Bell shared her pragmatic take.
"Please don't fall. Don't fall. Don't fall. Don't faint. Just let me get to the end of the aisle."
But it was bride Jamie Otis who revealed her initial hesitation.
Everyone's smiling at me, and I wasn't initially attracted to him. I didn't know anything about him other than, the way he looked. He was like rubbing my hands, and I just felt so uncomfortable.
Expert advice. The experts are involved not only in pairing partners, but also in counseling couples during the marriage itself. But exactly how professional are these reality experts? As Otis described to The Knot, not only did the experts find someone who I could fall in love with, but they helped guide me along the process. Her husband, Doug Hayner, agreed, saying, "For me, it was the experts that sold me on the idea. I believed in them as professionals, and I trusted that they were taking this experiment seriously and wanted to find a real scientific match, not just two people that were going to make good TV." Hayner said the experts have become almost like family, saying, "Even after the show, they've all reached out to us and let us know that they hope to always stay in touch. We have every intention on having them in our lives." All the feels. Otis and Hayner talked with The Knot about the process of getting to know someone you might not even be attracted to, and how their attitude shifted over time. Otis said, "On our wedding day, I was certain I made the biggest mistake of my life. I was trying my best to be pleasant and friendly. Meanwhile, I was wondering why on earth I ever thought it'd be a good idea to marry a complete stranger." Hayner shared similar thoughts on the first day, saying, "I think there was a lot of doubt in the beginning and whether or not we were right for each other. But then things began to change." Hayner continued, "Over that time, we've both fallen in love with one another, and the thought process changed from whether or not I could see myself spending the rest of my life with Jamie to not being able to imagine spending the rest of my life with anyone other than Jamie." Total regret. Married life with a stranger and the pressures of reality TV create tough moments for the couples throughout the show. When Season 4's Nick Pendergrast yelled at his then-wife Sonia Granados, things got dark very fast.
"I don't think she's attractive, and I'm not attracted to her, and that is me opening up to the fullest extent."
He later apologized, telling The Knot, "I could only imagine how Sonia must have felt. The cameras always add to the stress when you're on day 6 or 7 in a row and it's 1 a.m. But the cameras also forced us to face a lot up front and not put it on the back burner." But fans of the show didn't let Pendergrast off the hook, immediately siding with Granados via social media. He told The Knot, "It was a hard week for sure, and I tried to stay away from social media and focus on other things to distract myself from being sucked into reading comment after comment." Big decisions. The big moment arrives on decision day when the couple decides if they want to stay together or divorce. So what's going through their minds? It turns out a whole lot. Neil Bolis opened up to Us Magazine about his choice to divorce, saying, "I felt I was missing the ability to create a deeper, more intimate relationship. Nobody is at fault. It's just the way things happened. We learn, grow, and move on." He continued to reflect on his decision, saying, "After 6 months of discussing the events of Married at First Sight with professionals, I am in a comfortable place and I appreciate and value our friendship. If I have learned one thing, it is, yes, I will miss some things from our time together." Want to give it a shot? Otis has some advice for anyone who wants to go on the show. She told Upfront New York, "You really have to know exactly what you want. You also have to know your own good and bad qualities, especially when talking with the experts. Also, you must be open. Patience is key. You're not always going to be on the same page, especially for the first 6 months. Be patient with your spouse." Good advice coming from an alum who's still happily hitched. Thanks for watching. Click the list icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out this other cool stuff we know you'll love too.